Let me sip some water. Let me sip some water. Whoo, child. Because it's about to get tricky. Tough times.
Tough time never lasts. Only tough people last.
What's up, what's poppin', my people? Karibuni tena sana to my YouTube channel. It's your favorite Kenyan babe, Mimo Karanja. If this is your first time here, karibu sana. Feel free to join this family by subscribing and hitting the notification bell below so that you can be notified anytime your girl posts a new video. So if you're all about some good vibes, some good laughter, then you are in the right place. And if you're a returnee, my G, kama kawa, kama dawa, thank you so much for always coming back to my channel. I love and appreciate you guys a lot. So today's video is a sit down, and I haven't done one in a while, and I just decided I want to talk about a very sensitive topic, one that I have gone through, I have experienced last year. Hey, because 2020 was the ghetto, hey, Pepombaya was 2020. So anyway, 2020 was such a trash year for me. It was a terrible year, and when COVID hit the country, I have done a whole video of this, of how I lost my job due to COVID-19. I am one of those statistics, guys. One of those people who lost their jobs due to COVID-19, and I was unemployed for almost 9 months ongoing, almost 1 year of no job, no nothing. Hopelessness, despair, and all that kind of stuff that people go through during their unemployed period. So I decided, you know what, I want to do a video about lessons that I learned during this period of my life. These lessons apply to both people, either you are employed or not, even in business. These are just general lessons that I feel like everyone should know about unemployment, whether you're employed or not. So if that sounded like a video that you do want to watch, do keep on watching till the end. So to start off, first things first, the first lesson that I learned is nothing is permanent. Yeah? In Daddy Owen's true words, yote ni vanity. By that I mean, as long as the company is not your dad's, kampuni si yenyu, si ya gukako, si ya shosho yako, then guess what? You should be ready to step out at any moment. Any moment could be your last day in that company, could be your last day in whatever organization you're working for. So for me, one of the lessons that I learned is that you can sleep today employed and tomorrow you are unemployed. Especially, I feel like you should have, I'm not saying you should live in this kind of mentality, I could just expect the worst, but what I'm trying to say is you should always be open-minded to this factor. This is a fact, okay? This is fact. As long as you are employed, your employer can decide that tomorrow they do not need you in their company. So I can say, even if you're employed right now, you should be open-minded. Be open-minded and know that yote ni vanity. Anything could end at any time. For instance, for me, one of the reasons I feel like it did not hit me bad is because I expected it. I always knew, like, the tendency in our company, because our boss was not alikuwa wale watu wanaweza kufuta at any time. There were people who walikuwa wamefutwa with no notice. So I knew this was the trend in our company, and I knew tomorrow that could be me. And that time came when COVID came, and it was me, and I lost my job. So having this kind of, you know, expectation somehow at the back of your mind will help you prepare for this season. Another lesson, especially if you are employed, is have multiple streams of income. And by that, as in true Kenyan words, how Kenyans like, we love to say, kuwa na side hustle. Side hustle is very important. So personally for me, in my own experience, I thank God it was just a coincidence that I had nilikuwa tu nimeanzisha like a side hustle, Irimo Clan. If you're following me for a while, then you know I had a small business that was known as Irimo Clan and sell and Kara related items. So I had just opened it. That I could make like 2 months, and then I lost my job. I'm not even joking. That sustained me for the longest time, especially when COVID hit, masks zikakuwa expensive. I made reusable masks and I made like 100% profit from that, and that money enabled me to, you know, like keep on going for a few time. As in, I had food on my table. I bought some of the items that I needed at that time because of my side hustle. And by side hustle, or rather having multiple streams of income, I don't mean lazima ikue biashara. No, biashara si ya kila mtu kusema ukweli. But for instance, you're a lawyer, okay? You work in a company as their lawyer. What about finding your own clients, kado? Okay, as in ukwetu na tu client tuwako uko nje unashughulikianga, you help them with their legal issues, so that if you lose your job in that company as their legal officer or whatever, you still have your clients kando wenye watakuokolea if in case of unemployment. So just think about how you can find multiple streams of income, kuwa na side hustle or whatever you want to call it. Kama bado uko in employment, girl, emergency funds, saving towards an emergency fund is important. And I never knew this, and I did have this. Why? I came to learn of this. It was a coincidence that yo time nili lose job yangu, I was reading this book that I love so much, The Smart Money Woman. This was the book that I was reading at that time, and I came to learn of emergency funds through this book. Before that, sikuwa najua. And what emergency funds are is you calculate the amount of money, your needs that you need per month, and then you multiply that by 6 or by 9, and you need to save towards that. In case you lost your job tomorrow, at least you know for 6-9 months coming, I'm cushioned, I am okay. Niko poa, niko sote. Please consider that. I was a communication student. I have never done anything business in high school, in uni, nothing. And in 6 months into my unemployment, things were really bad for me financially. Sikuwa hata 10 bob. Was such a struggle for. Yani nilikuwa pabaya last year. When I lost my job, at first I was happy. You know, I lost my job because it was a toxic job, a toxic boss, everything was toxic. So at the beginning, nilikuwa nimefurahi that, oh God, this is a blessing in disguise. Until the reality, after a few months, when all my savings had been used up, when I didn't even have a coin in my pocket, when this reality started hitting me, it's very easy during this time to consider yourself a failure. It is. Okay. I felt like this. I'm not even joking. I felt like a failure. Because at that time, in as much I was still doing content creation, it kept me busy, but it wasn't rewarding. And by rewarding, I mean it wasn't paying me in any way. Sikuwa napata even a single coin from it. I was just doing it for fun because I enjoy it. But it wasn't rewarding me. I wasn't getting any money from it. And the number of times you might wake up during these times and feel like you're the uselessness, you're the definition of uselessness is a lot. But what I can tell you, just because you lost your job, it does not mean you're a failure. You are not defined by your occupation. You are not defined only by the company you work for. You are not defined by the fact you are employed. Those things, okay, they are ni madoido poa to your name and to who you are. Ni madoido poa, you know, they are like garnish, they are good. But if you take the garnish from the food or from the plate, si bado your food utakula na itakuwa tamu, right? That's what I mean. Just because you lost your job, it does not mean you're a failure, and you are not a failure. In case you're in this situation, you are not a failure. So I learned that I am not a failure just because I lost a job, and I learned that I am not defined by my occupation. Okay, it does not define. And when you feel like this, now this is another lesson. I learned how important it is to be grateful. When you're going through this, you feeling like a failure, hauna kakiru kwa mfuko, uko broke as broke can be, it's very easy for you to just focus on the negatives in your life. Unaangalia tu unajiona, hey, mi ndio failure, mi ndio sina. Unaona tu sinners in your life. You just look at the negative side. But one lesson that I learned during this time is how how important it is to be grateful in every situation. Ebu kaa chini. In as much you have a list of the negatives that are going on in your life, it's not funny when you can't even afford like 10 shillings, credo. It's not funny. But ebu kaa chini and you look for things to be grateful about in your life. Personally, when I felt this, I was like, God, thank you that I know this is situation ya kila mtu, but these were my gratitudes for me. As in, thank you that first of all, I have a family that loves me. A family that ataka nime lose job yangu, hawanidharau.
I don't want to ruin my makeup.
Thank God I had a roof over my head. I had an understanding family wenye hawakushinda wakinipoke na the fact that I'm unemployed. You get, sit down. Last year watu wangapi wamekufa due to COVID-19, but God has sustained you. You might be unemployed, but God amekusustain. At least maybe unakula. Hauna job but haujui vile unakula. God anatuma angels your way. Sit down and think about these things, and these things will help you face tomorrow. Another lesson that I learned is reinvent yourself. Just as I said, you're not defined by your occupation. It does not mean now that you've lost your job and maybe you have applied to 101 companies, no response. It does not mean the only thing you can do is engineering. It didn't mean that the only thing I could do is work in a media house. For me, because I'm in media, I had to reinvent myself as a creative. I didn't think about, oh, lazima tu niwork in a media house, lazima nifanye sijui ABCD. Thank God that creativity is something that comes naturally to me. So I have reinvented myself as a creative. I'm not even joking. The current jobs or hata zile pesa napata sahi zinakam zote through this, because I was able to reinvent myself. Another example is, now I'm going to talk about media because niko in media, so that's the only example that I have on top of my mind. When COVID came, a lot of artists could not go do concerts anymore. A lot of, you know, actors, tuseme pia wali lose their jobs, for lack of a better term, because hawangeendelea kufanya hivyo. But if you notice, most of them reinvented themselves as content creators. Look at Abel Mutua. Huyu kijana si anatesa hii YouTube. So reinvent yourself during such times. Think about reinventing yourself. Don't only think that you can do one thing and one thing alone. Think about something else that you're good at and you can do it. And reinvent yourself towards those lines. And you never know, hiyo ndo kitu God anaweza kublessia. Hiyo ndo inaweza kufungulia milango haukuwahi that. Don't be choosy. Beggars are not choosers. Don't. For me, it was easy for me. Okay, not easy in terms of that. It would have been easy for me to think that, oh, nilikuwa kwa TV as a presenter. I worked in a media house. So kuna kazi siwezi fanya. You know, I can't do something. Wewe, ukitafuta unga kutaanza kufikiria in those lines. Don't be choosy. I'm not even joking. Be ready to do some odd jobs. I did some odd jobs and is a filing. And it kept me busy. So don't be choosy during this time. Usiseme ati mini daktari, mini lawyer. Hizi ndio kazi tu naweza fanya. Fanya yenye inapatikana, my dear. Fanya yenye inapatikana. As long as si kazi mbaya and it's not, you know, contradicting your morals and your values, do it. Don't be choosy. Poverty yangali umetengeneza pesa ni pesa. Another thing is, don't give up. Mimi kuna siku nilikuwa naamka natuma applications kama ya moja. Nilikuwa fuzu, sijui recruitment net, sijui which is the other one. Hizo zote za LinkedIn. Hadi niliingia LinkedIn during this time. I applied for so many jobs, didn't get any sort of response. Please guys, do not give up. Do not give up. Endelea kuapply. Haujui mlango yako itafungukia wapi. Plus usipo apply and then expect upate job. Continue applying without hesitation, without kukufifia moyo. Tia moyo konde. It's hard. This is one of the hardest. Mimi nilikuwa na kasa zingine wiki moja. I'm not applying. But please take time during unemployment. Maybe personally for me on Tuesdays, I would sit down and just apply to like 100 jobs. Ama when is the apple? Apply to so many jobs. Take time in your day. Schedule time to apply for jobs. Don't give up. Generally, make sure your CV is updated. Your cover letter is good. And if you can't do it yourself, find someone to do it. You know why I was getting rejected? Do you know why I never got any callbacks? It's because my CV was trash as trash can be. CV yangu ilikuwa matope, and I'm not a good writer. So you can imagine ile matope ilikuwa kwa CV yangu. And I never realized this because I didn't know. I thought my CV was perfect. So please, maybe you're getting rejected, maybe you're not getting any callbacks, or your applications are not being fruitful because your CV and your cover letter zimeumanje. So that's a very important lesson that I learned. If you can't do your own CV, have someone do it for you, but always make sure it's updated and revamped and that it's best. Another lesson that I learned, and this is very big. Oh, my chaka baba. It is important for you to protect your energy at this time. The last thing you need during this period of unemployment where you're feeling all type of ways, sometimes you're feeling like a failure, unafeel come to useless. You don't need people around you, okay? Negative energy around you. You don't need people around you who make you feel like a failure times 10, who are bringing you this negative energy times 10. Keep away from those people. For instance, maybe because I know I've had many people talk about this. Kama unaenda around your aunties, maybe it's a get together, and they're just poking you about unemployment and making you feel bad about that situation. Unaenda uko kufanya? Kwani umeandikiwa na daktari lazima? Usipoenda utakufa? Ati because it's a family gathering. Stay away from those kind of people. Personally for me, kuna mabeshte niliacha kuchukua simu zao, and not in a bad way. It's not like I'm cutting these niggas off, I'm cutting all of you off. It was not about that. But I just realized I needed to protect my sanity. I needed to protect my positive. I needed positive energy around me and not negative. The last thing you need is for someone to call you. I'm not even joking. Mtu aninipigia alafu anakuuliza, uko tu home? Hiyo swali inaweza kaa si big deal kwako. But when you are unemployed, going through these feelings, mtu kukuuliza, uko tu home?
I'm a sensitive ass bitch. I'm sensitive as fuck. I'm a fucking sensitive fucking gangster.
Ama mtu anakukall, you know, it's like for instance ukatwe kidole. And then kila time tukipatana naanza kukwambia vile kidole yangu inafanyanga poa, inafanyanga switches poa, inafanya kazi vizuri, yet umekatwa kidole yako. And then they leave you. It's not like you're not happy for them, but it's always good to be sensitive. Personally, niliacha kuchukua simu za mabeshte wangu wengine. I'm sure kuna wenye maybe watawoti washangae. What happened? I'll tell them, text. I can't pick your phone, text. Ndio kama ni kitu ya maana, fine. Kama si ya maana, you're just checking on me, I'm fine. I don't need you talking to me. Because every time I talk to you, you just leave me feeling drained and worse and bad about my situation. You don't need that kind of energy. So protect your energy, protect your sanity, protect yourself from this kind of people, from this kind of energy at all costs. Do it. So guys, those are some of the lessons that I picked up during my unemployment period. That was the worst period of my life. It is not a good feeling. So those are some of the lessons that I learned. If you are unemployed and you've watched this video, I hope it has encouraged you in one way or another. Just know that there is no situation that is permanent, and you're not a failure. It will all come to pass. It shall all pass. If you are employed, I hope you are wewe nimekuchanua in one way or another. So that's it for this video. Comment down below and tell me if you have been through this season, what was another lesson that you learned, or what is a lesson that I've said and you concur with. If you're still employed, just comment down below and tell me something that you've learned through this video. Wacha tusaidiane, sawa tusaidiane. So comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Like, share, and yeah, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.